Overseas now, and the Palestinian militant group Hamas has rejected the latest proposals for a ceasefire in Gaza, saying it was biased towards Israel. Middle East correspondent Eric Torchek reports.
The United States has tried to take control of these talks, telling everyone there was a final deal put to the parties and it was going to be accepted by the end of the week. Now Hamas says that's a lie. It says the US has essentially taken Israel's side in the negotiations and accepted positions that Hamas was never going to agree to, such as Israel retaining a military presence inside the Gaza Strip, retaining control of the border with Egypt, and not agreeing to a permanent ceasefire. Those things were always red lines for Hamas, and it says it cannot agree to a ceasefire under those terms. It says it did, however, agree to a proposal put forward last month, and it blames Israel for imposing new conditions in excess of that deal. Israel, for its part, says Hamas is being obstinate. The Israeli Prime Minister, though, has conceded there are some conditions upon which Israel cannot afford to be flexible. He says the pressure needs to be put on Hamas to accept the current deal that's on the table. The US is right about one thing, though, and that is there's an extreme urgency to get a ceasefire in Gaza. Not only are lives being lost every day, but the UN says there's a need for a 7-day ceasefire in order to vaccinate thousands of Gazan children from polio, a disease which has started to reappear in Gaza for the first time in decades. It's a debilitating disease that thrives in poor sanitary conditions, which are currently rife in Gaza, especially as the zone for humanitarian people, for displaced Gazans, continues to shrink as Israel issues more and more evacuation orders. Then there's the looming threat of attacks by the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah and Iran. Iran had indicated it would withhold its promised revenge for Israel's presumed assassination of a Hamas leader in Tehran, and it followed that its ally Hezbollah would also withhold its retaliation for a Hezbollah leader in Beirut. If the ceasefire talks collapse, it's presumed that those two strikes are back on the table, and also with them the threat of an all-out regional war.